Hey guys, it's Shannon. I am outside today. As you can see, BookPeople is right behind me. It's a crazy day here. We've my program shut down. I had to find a cool new place to do the thing just for today. So hopefully you guys can hear me. I know in the past when I've just used my laptop, it's been hard to hear. So hopefully it's not too quiet and you can actually hear. I'll make sure my sound is up all the way. Make sure that that's kind of helpful. But so just so you guys know, Tomoko, you're watching. If you can hear, let me know if you can't. Either way, so that way I know if the sound is not working. It's going to be a little loud because I am outside, but hopefully you can hear me talk about books, and you guys will have some good things to say about new releases coming out. One of the first ones that I'm going to kick off with is The Case for Jamie. If you guys have not been reading the Charlotte Holmes novels, these are really great and they're really popular with our Teen Press Corps members. They have absolutely loved this series because it's great to have a female Sherlock Holmes kind of mentality. And as this one is the third book in the series, what we have right here at this point is our Charlotte Holmes is having a really hard time. She's on her own. Her Watson doesn't want anything to do with her anymore. She really doesn't get where she's at and why she's going there. And what's horrible about it of all is that she is on the run from Lucian Moriarty. So if you guys haven't been following along, I don't want to spoil everything that's happened. There's 2 books before this, so you need to pick it up. But the series is really great, and it's got a wonderful cast of characters with a fantastic female Sherlock in Charlotte. So you guys should check it out. Great mysteries, great adventure, and like I said, a strong female protagonist. So apparently I grabbed 2 copies of In Search Of because I was just really excited about it. But we actually have had, again, this is another one that our Teen Press Corps people have really been excited about, anticipating, because our Teen Press Corps member Aurora actually did a review of Love Letters to the Dead and found it really exciting. And this is one of those great contemporary reads that we've been really looking forward to for this month. It's a connecting story. We've got 2 narratives, and it's the mother's story and the child's story, and they kind of intersect in a way because we hear the story of a mother who wasn't really in a place to become a mother, and a kid who's never known her father, and she finds out that an uncle that she never even knew she had is alive and is someone she can contact. And so she starts to investigate whether or not her dad is out there and whether or not he is somebody who should be a part of her life. So a great story and a great author who, like I said, Aurora really loved from the Teen Press Corps. And speaking of books that Aurora reviewed, this is another one that she did a review on, which was Bridget Kimmerer, who recently came here, and More Than We Can Tell is another one of those stories that has 2 different main characters that we're following. Rev, who has a troubled past, an abusive father, and Emma, who is just trying to escape her parents. And these 2 kids find each other, and their stories intersect in a way that's really something they both need, and then something that might end up being a bit tragic for both of them, and they've kind of got to rely on each other and find out who to share their secrets with and who not to. It's really one of those great heartfelt stories and good connecting moments. And so also another one of those authors that Teen Press Corps really loves. Love Letters to the Lost was actually a buzz book a couple months back. So that's Love Letters to the Lost. If you guys have not picked it up, that's a great novel. And also those pink flowers are super cute. So I'm trying to, I have some that I'm really, really, really going to be gushing about that are all of the next ones. So I wanted to get some of those that we've had love for in the past, and I have really been looking forward to these new titles from these authors out there first, because I've got some amazing, amazing sequels and some great debuts that you guys have to pick up. So what I'm about to show you is something that I personally have been waiting years for. Cannot believe this is happening. Might have like a fangirl meltdown when I hold this book up. So just be prepared for that. It's quite possibly going to happen. But Tahir Mafi has brought back the Shatter Me series. It's just like you need a moment to process that, because this is the series. Like I think she's always described it, and it's always been described in like the circle as sexy X-Men, with a female lead. And so I always say if Rogue ran the X-Men, this is what would happen. But Restore Me picks up where we left off years ago in the series. Juliet has come into her power. She is in charge of everything, and she has like no idea where to go from there. And Warner is with her, and that's really super important, because if you read the series, you know that Warner is amazing. If you haven't read the series, oh my gosh, one of the best conflicted stories for a male lead in a series. Like, you would love it. If you're a fan of the Darkling in the Grisha trilogy, if you're a fan of, you know, any of those dark male leads, Warner is definitely one that you need to check out. And then the twists and turns in his story is beautiful. But one of the great things, and I really hope she does it again, is when Juliet was unsure of herself, she used to strike through, and it looks like there's not a lot of it in this one. She used to write things down and then strike through them, and it was just beautiful the way Tahara did that, where it was like you didn't know like if those words were going to end up mattering, or if they were just like lost, pushed aside feelings from Juliet. But this book, picking up where we think she knows her power, but she doesn't, and she might be the biggest, you know, issue and the biggest danger for the society as it is now, which she was always warned about in the beginning. Very much like Rogue, Juliet's power, if she can't really touch people in that same way. And so if she's always been segregated, and she's always been isolated because of that, and she's always been seen as a weapon. And you know, now she finds out that she might actually be. And I've been waiting for years for this book. When I found out it was coming, I really did have like a fangirl Muppet flow, run around the room for hours kind of thing. So it's really great that it's finally here. And once again, like those beautiful covers, just gorgeous. And I haven't undressed this book yet, but she always gets like this great, beautiful cover. And so, yeah, pick this one up. It's amazing. You're going to need it. One of the other ones, this is our March Buzz book for this month, and our Teen Press Corps member, Albumi, she actually did an amazing review of this. This is about a girl who is experiencing a hard life. She is not happy like where she lives. The world is not kind to her, and she's always fought back with her fist, and she learns that she can fight back with her words, and she becomes the Poet X, and she starts speaking out through poetry, through slam poetry, through all of these amazing words, and it's told in this beautiful verse format. And actually, if you have not checked out the review, it's on our Teen Press Corps blog. Part of it is in our newsletter, because we actually wrote it as a slam poem about a book about slam poetry, and how it changed her world and how it changed this main character's world. And if you need any more recommendation for why you should read this book, Jason Reynolds says it's incredible. So I don't really know what else you need. Like, if Jason Reynolds doesn't make you want to go out and buy the book, then you need to go read Jason Reynolds too. But Poet X, amazing. It's the March Buzz book. Please come pick it up. Check it out. Check out Bumi's blog on the Teen Press Corps page, because it's an amazing poem, and it's just really passionate about how passionate this story is. So you want to catch that. Speaking of incredible debuts that everybody has been gushing out about, Children of Blood and Bone has been listed in so many different places and so many different publications about like the anticipation for this book. And oh my gosh, it's it's a fantasy world that you just are gonna fall into. It's a West African story. The people of this area have had magic forever, and magic has slowly started to disappear, and the crown ruler of the country is trying to kill off anybody who has magic. And we have our main character who has come from a family, and because of all the murders, has actually lost like her entire family, her mother, her friends, everybody that's ever been a part of her life. And she is charged with bringing magic back to the area, and she's got to work against every odds that there is. And it's a phenomenal book. I love the tagline, like they killed my mother, they took her magic, they tried to bury us, and now we rise. This book is one of those that it's heart wrenching. It's a story that you just dive into, and it's gonna be one of those everybody is talking about forever. So this is one that you absolutely want to come out and pick up immediately, and just let yourself fall into the fantasy book that you've been missing and didn't even know it. Yeah, it's gonna be insane. On the same note of magic, but in a completely different way. The Wicked Deep is a hilarious choice for International Women's Day, because this is about three witch sisters who are drowned during the 1820s. The whole like witches are bad, like let's kill every woman who we think is possibly a witch kind of situation. And the Swan sisters are three women who are rocks are chained to their feet, and they are drowned in the river. And now, every time these witches come back, they inhabit three teenage girls, and they find some men to drown. And this is the awesome story of a bunch of witches who are still seeking revenge hundreds of years later. And of course, in this story, we find a girl who has been possessed by the witches, and a boy who is in danger of being uh, drowned by the witches, and the story unfolds from there. As you can guess, there's lots of will they, won't they, where is there going to be, like, where, how's this revenge story going to play out? And absolutely, if you love magic, they call this hocus pocus meets practical magic for the YA world. So those are two of the best movies about witches out there for women. So, and in general, Hocus Pocus is amazing. Also, loud cars. Sorry, guys. This is what happens when you sit outside. Beautiful day, start of South by Southwest. Everything's crazy and fun and awesome in Austin, and also loud. So, sorry about that. I have one more book to share, and that's a new release this week at least. And if you've ever met me, if you've ever been to any of my book talks or any of the schools, or been into the store and had a conversation with me, you have heard me freak out about this, the first book in this series, and that is Squirrel Girl. And Squirrel Girl sequel just came out this week. It's Too Fuzzy, Too Furious. And Shannon and Dean Hale are amazing. The first book in this series was absolutely everything you could possibly want in a superhero book, in a novel, in this is actually more of a middle grade, but I'm an adult, and I think it falls into every category. If you read Squirrel Girl comics, it's in the same vein as Squirrel Girl comics. For those of you who don't, Doreen Green is a teenage superhero who has the powers of a squirrel, which does not sound like much, but it is. And she actually has a giant squirrel tail. She has buck teeth, which you can't really see. She's got kind of bigger teeth in the front like a squirrel. And she's always had to hide all of that until she moved to a new town where she became friends with a bunch of squirrels, one being Tabito, who is amazing. You can see her right there. She's the best friend anybody could have. Doreen also makes friends with a girl at school, and the two of them kind of start fighting crime, not because of any reason other than there are bad things happening, and Doreen can't let them happen, and she uses her team of squirrels and to help her out. And in the first book, it's great is because she doesn't know how to be a superhero, but she's being forced into the superhero life. So, of course, she reaches out to the only people she can think of in the Marvel universe, which would be the Avengers. And Tippy Toe steals a bunch of phone numbers, but doesn't write down who's whose. And so Doreen just starts texting all these different Avengers, and it's great. She reaches out to Iron Man. She reaches out to the Winter Soldier, all these people, and she just keeps like trying to find out who can help her become a superhero, and ends up doing it on her own. And this sequel, we find out like her town is getting cleaned up, things are not near as bad, so of course that means a new villain has to come into the market. And this is going to be a new adventure for her and Anna Sophia, her best friend, and Tippy Toe, and all the squirrels in the neighborhood. And it starts out with some really amazing news stories about what she's been up to, so it catches you up. But you definitely want to pick out this book because it's hilarious. Shannon and Dean have always been a great team. They've done all the Ever After High books. They do The Princess in Black together. They're also just two amazing humans. So you definitely want to grab this book and hold on to it and hug it forever. I know I hugged my copy when I got it for about 30 minutes without even reading it. I just hugged it because it was necessary that me and my book bonded for a few minutes. Other than that, like I said at the beginning, it is International Women's Day, and there are some really great titles in YA nonfiction that if you haven't picked them up ever before, you definitely want to. This one I talked a little bit about last week, but it's Here We Are. It's Feminism for the Real World, and it's 44 authors talking about just everything from how to be a feminist, like whether or not feminism is a bad word, how to be a strong female geek, body positivity, anything and everything that you could possibly make a conversation about in the spectrum of feminism is going to be in this book. And the essays they're great. There's comics, there's some funny ones, there's some sad ones, there's some just straight nonfiction, like this is what happened, this is why we need to change this kind of situations. So it's a super inspiring book. Absolutely love it. And I believe Kelly Jensen, the editor of this one, is from the Austin area or somewhere nearby. And we had them out last year when this book came out, and they just had some really great stories to share. Great option for a book club to talk about different ones. I've used this for many different conversations with students. And the Teen Press Corps, a couple of the members from the Teen Press Corps actually got a few arcs of this and started their own book clubs at their schools for their feminist organizations. So great option for International Women's Day and Women's History Month in general, and just to inspire the fact that we are all in this together. And then these teens absolutely changing the world, doing exactly what women everywhere are super proud to be, inspiring and changing the world and innovating. And these two girls, Andy and Sophie, were teenage girls who created a game called Tampon Run during a camp project, and it was just one of those online 8-bit style games they created one summer while they were still in high school, and they had to put it up online. It was part of the project, and so they put it online, people could play it, and it went viral within a couple of days. And they'll tell the story about how they got their phone calls while they were at school, and they needed to be on the USA Today and Good Morning America and all these programs because everybody was just freaking out about this game and why they made it. And the girls were like, we made it because everybody has period and tampons are a taboo word, and we didn't understand why. And so these two girls who were in high school and I believe growing into college at the time of the project actually really changed that market and really started a conversation and coded all that game themselves. So they're a great inspiring STEM story for any girl of any age, and they're just absolutely cool girls. They're when they came for this book, it was their first ever conversation about a book that they had written. It was the first ever book they wrote. It was the first ever game they'd really had success with. So they had a lot of firsts that we got to experience with them, and they just were really inspiring to teenagers, and I know that a lot of the teens that met them really enjoyed it. So absolutely pick up that. It's a great option for everybody. And other than that, guys, just remember to check out our website. We've got a ton of events coming up. We've got Farrah Penn on the 20th. She'll be here for her book, 12 Steps to Normal, which is a great story about dealing with alcoholic parents and being a part of that growth and change that it takes as a teenager in that setting, as well as a member of any family or any situation like that. And then we have Neil Schusterman coming on the 22nd for Thunderhead, the sequel to Scythe. If you haven't picked up Scythe, you don't know what it's about, check the Teen Press Corps website. We've got some reviews that are really amazing on Scythe, and hopefully we'll have some on Thunderhead for you soon. And then that weekend, we have the author of Time Next coming in. She's a local author, so if you are available that day, you should come check it out. She's amazing. She's got a great sci-fi novel that you're going to absolutely love. And then just tons of great things. Speaking of Squirrel Girl, in April, our young adult book club, Second Star to the Right, which is actually for adults who love YA, will be reading the first Squirrel Girl novel. So if you haven't picked it up, it is in paperback. It's a great title. It's hilarious. If you've ever liked a Marvel film, you will love this novel. If you've ever read a comic book, absolutely will love it. It has that same fun comic feel. So we really hope that you'll come check out the events. It's because of people like you coming to these events that we get to continue to have them. But we know this week you're all busy, so hanging out at South by Southwest, like I said, it's already picking up, getting crazy here, and there's a ton of cool things that we know are going on. And book people will be out and about there too, and the store will obviously be open. So come get these new releases so that if you aren't going out and you want to hunker down in your house while it's busy outside and crazy everywhere, you'll have tons of new books that you can read. I will be back next week, hopefully inside where you can hear me. And we will also be on Instagram all day today, posting more about all of these new books, as well as some of the other titles that came out. And I'll be posting new things to the Teen Thursday blog. And like I said, check out the Teen Press Corps blog for reviews on some of these, including The Poet X with Olumi's amazing slam poem about it. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.